All right. Good evening, everybody. I now call the meeting to order. A few administrative notes about Zoom. Today's meeting is being recorded. Closed caption is available for each user by simply clicking the button on the toolbar below. A quick note about the intent of the Committee of the Whole meeting. This is an opportunity for the Commission to review materials and ask questions in preparation for the full body meeting, which is next week on Wednesday. We'll use the draft agenda for the full body meeting as the guide for conducting the COW. However, no official actions or votes will take place tonight. Generally, we have the exception of being able to take a vote if there are any administrative or operational issues that we need to discuss, but there aren't any for this evening. So with that, we will dispense with taking a roll call or anything of that nature. I will note that per DC law, ANC1E meeting was noticed to the community via listserv, ANC1E's website, and social media. So with that, I will start sharing my screen. All right, please disregard the format. I'm doing this in a web browser versus when I download it for the actual meeting. And so therefore it gets a little wonky. It will correct when I do it next week. But right now, for just going through the agenda, right now for the consent agenda, we only have one thing, which is the March meeting minutes. For the community announcements and presentations, we have two guests that are joining us. One is Chris Dyer from DPR, wants to come and give a highlight of a variety of things that are taking place at DPR, particularly as summer is starting to kick off. Then we have,
Brian,
yeah.
just real quick too, I'm working with Chris, Audra and I are setting up a tour of the Parkview Rec Center. So if anybody wants to be invited when we solidify that, let me know. We'll send it around. Y'all are welcome to join. But now with my new job, it'll be outside of probably the 9 to 5 window. So it'd be probably at night or a weekend. I just don't know. We're working that out right now.
Yeah, I'd love to join. And then we have Travers Culpepper, who's with Pepco. This is a direct ask for them to come and talk specifically as a repercussion to some of the reoccurring outages in the northern part of the commission around Brad, your district. So I know that you guys have had a little bit of a back and forth. And we did tell him that we would send him some of the preliminary questions that may have. I saw that you had a back and forth with him of some of the dates and times of the long-term outages. But have you had any more correspondence with him? Any idea of what that
No,
conversation may want to be like?
I just want to know like what's up, because that's 3 long-term outages in 8 months seems excessive for a city that is rare to have those kind of things. And so the last one, I was just kind of curious of, is it unique to this neighborhood? Is it because all the construction going on? But like, it for what it was a transformer that blew this last time around, and yet somehow it still took like 14 hours. As I was walking up and down Manor that night, just like talking to the guys, I was listening as constituents came out to see what was going on. And it was, you know, I have a legal case in the morning I've got to be on Zoom for. I've got an exam. My mother's in town. I've got a young kid. I've got, so it's all this stuff. And, clearly it's very disruptive to people's lives. So.
Yeah, I would probably, and I'm happy after this call if you want to chat a little bit, but I would probably come up with some things and be very direct with him on what you would like for him to do. Come prepared with a slide deck, doesn't have to be more than 5 slides. Talk a little bit about like what the grid is like in this area. Some of the questions you may want to pepper him with is like, what's the average lifespan of a transformer? What are the transformers' expiration dates on these? What's the plan for updating the grid? Just like give him something.
Yeah, because the delay this time around was caused by the steel plate that like covers the space where they crawl underneath to replace the transformer, and they can't remove that steel plate, so they had to call another contract company I can't remember the name of, but it used to be within Pepco, and yeah, now it's contracted out, and that was the source of the delay. So I think I wrote it down somewhere, but I'll send it to him.
Yeah. Well, and do you want to talk after this so we can maybe just go come up with a couple of things? Because I think we want to be respectful. Like we want him to come and basically give an overview of what's going on,
Yeah.
but we're not trying to put him in the hot seat of like,
No,
tell
no.
us about this one thing. So I think if
But
we give him a little bit of direction and he'll have 5 minutes to kind of present here, and we just want to make sure we're using that time most effectively.
yeah, I'm mainly interested in like I understand things happen from time to time. Mainly interested in it feels excessive for this locale.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you want to
Um,
chat after? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Audrey.
no, go ahead, Brian. Finish up with this. Fine.
Oh, no, that was it. I was going to say if we want to chat after, but Audrey, go ahead.
I just wanted to go back, I'm sorry, before we get too far down the agenda, with Christopher Dyer from DPR. I would like to probe him on some of the, I guess, pipe, lead pipe issues, at Parkview Rec Center, which was raised by Olivia yesterday in the meeting. So I thought maybe we can take advantage of his presence and maybe ask if he has any awareness on that and if it's going to be finally resolved, because obviously neighbors who use it are a little worried about, ongoing and persistent lead pipe issues.
Just and I just so you all know, we got we got word notice of that, and I tweeted it out onto ANC1E X account that the park was closed for lead exposure. So
Yeah.
just a good call, Audrey. That's a great idea to ask him about
Thanks, Brad.
because yeah, and I just be clear, it's not necessarily lead. I mean, I don't know, but what they detected is they like swap because I just read the email and did the tweet. But they like swiped surfaces, and they had higher than normal lead on those surfaces, which can happen in urban areas, because lead paint from walls, exterior, all that kind of stuff. But like, I think to Audra's point, like it seems to be happening frequently here.
Yeah. And Brad, if you get notices like that, when you post, can I ask you to also put them in the Parkview
Yeah, a good
Facebook
call.
page?
Let me go back and look. I assumed it was to 1E, but I don't know for sure. I have to go look at the email. But yes, happy to forward those
Great.
along.
Yeah, because a lot of our constituents across 1E are on that page as well. So that'd be a great place to also create awareness there.
Great
Thanks.
idea. Love it.
Thank you.
And I'll reach out to Chris and let him know that that's a topic that we're specifically interested in hearing
Thank
him
you.
discuss. Mhm. All right, and then we'll have Estelle and Anthony per usual. Then we'll go to official business. So Josh, we have the one resolution supporting a dog park at Banneker. Do you have anything else that you want to, we'll get to it in a moment, but do you, anything else any other resolutions or anything for your committee?
Yeah, I seem to have lost access to OneDrive, so I'm trying to figure that out. Interesting. So there are two, one related to budget requests, which I don't know if we wanted to do an overall budget request one. But the items for the budget request are one, making sure that the bus lane project the bus lane projects for Georgia Avenue and for Crosstown Columbia Heights bus lane project, that those are fully funded, given some of the recent funding issues, and then the park that will eventually be at Bruce Monroe.
Are those two separate resolutions, or it's one resolution on the budget with those issues in it?
One resolution on the budget with those issues in it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Josh, are you going to testify or just submit the resolution?
I was just planning to submit the resolutions because I don't know when, I don't think anyone knows when the budget meetings will be. But depending on timing, I might be able to testify.
Yeah, or maybe
Yeah.
like, just the resolution can say if designating yourself as the person who testifies on behalf of ANC1E Transportation Committee, because that can just, go through and we don't have to deal with it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the standard language in the end of the resolution, Rashida, says who the commissioner has, and then it states that the chair has the authority to appoint somebody if that commissioner is unable to actually make it. So, Josh, I'm sure you have that as standard language in your thing.
Yep.
Perfect. And the second resolution?
Just a quick piece of feedback on the Strategic Parking Enforcement Enhancement Act of 2025. I believe I mentioned this to the ANC previously. we've talked about it 2 months in a row now at the Transportation and Public Space Committee, but the main thing there is just allowing Howard, like we do with AU, allowing Howard the ability to ticket cars near Howard University, and those ticket funds would still go to the city, but basically deputizing Howard Police to be able to ticket just like DPW would, so that if there's a particular problematic area and Howard wants to enforce it, then that we don't have to rely on the city going back and helping Howard there.
Do you have the titles of those handy, or if it's in OneDrive, do you want me to like go find it, or you're having a hard time even putting them in there?
I'm having just I don't, it's like completely blocked me out, which is weird because it says I have access. I can send you the titles tonight though.
Perfect. And then I can update the agenda so we can send it out.
Yeah.
Great. Before I move on to the other resolutions, should we go through the Banneker Park one? I can give it an overview of it. And Josh,
I read it. I think it's good.
Yeah, just for everybody else's sake, essentially, we neighbors have been interested in doing a dog park at Banneker for a while. Over last summer, we talked about what it would look like to do that, and there was another initiative that had already been kind of underway over around 625 T Street. And their request was like, see where that goes, because then we would have basically 2 requests for a dog park within a very close proximity. And about a month ago, the determination letter for 625 T Street came out saying that it was not a viable site. But interestingly, the review committee had cited Banneker as a good alternative. And so Josh, myself, and the community members had a meeting with the person at DPR who's responsible for, I guess, reviewing and moving these things through the process. And we are very far along the path. And the next steps are the ANC to send the resolution in support. And then we need to get, they suggest about 50, but we'll probably end up getting about 100 signatures from community members within, close proximity to Banneker. And then we're hoping that it'll bypass the review committee, because the review committee already cited it as a viable site, and it'll go straight to the director. And here is a copy of where it would be, that southeast corner of that Banneker field. And then here's a copy of that determination letter where they cite Banneker as a viable site. Any questions on this?
I guess one that I'm a bit confused by is, I remember when we talked to DPR at one point, they said absolutely not to Banneker. Do you know what changed?
I think we're recording, so I will be diplomatic. I think that there was a rushed opinion, a personal opinion that was given on our call. And I think that they were trying to also be respectful of budgets and how many applications were going out into the world, and that there may be some other wards that don't have dog parks. So I think they were trying to heavily dissuade us from trying to move forward on it.
Got it. Okay, that's helpful.
All right, if there are no questions, I will go back to the agenda. Josh, I'm so sorry you're having issues, but do you want to email me your resolution so I can share my screen and you can walk us through real quick, or are they not ready for review?
They're not completely ready, but I mean, there's not much more to them, honestly, than just make sure that those 3 things are fully funded. So it's going to be like a couple of clauses that just sound a little nicer than that. And then the feedback on the Strategic Parking Enforcement Enhancement Act. It's just the same sort of language around AU does this. We should allow Howard University the ability to do this.
Great. Okay.
Do you folks have any feedback on that, I guess?
Nope.
Okay. And if folks have other things that they feel like we should give feedback on, happy to incorporate those. We haven't really gotten too much more feedback.
Great. Moving to zoning and economic development, the committee met and there was a vote in support of a zoning variance, but the committee decided to hold until they get their hearing date. And so it will not be under consideration for this month, but it will come soon. And I don't believe there was anything else for the Zoning and Economic Development Committee. And then public safety, Phil couldn't make it last night, so I stepped in and chaired. There was no resolution that came out of there, but Audra, this might be a great space to start the conversation. If you, I can bring up that document that we used, and if you want to kind of give a overview and your
That's
questions.
fine. No. So yeah, yesterday I attended the public safety and engagement committee meeting. There were a few residents there from our SND to collaborate and participate in the planning. We shared a rough draft, a rough planning document that I put together based on our previous discussion about this, which included a refined list of objectives, which are here in front of us, and include, I'm not going to read all of them in detail, but basically, providing constituents with an opportunity to be heard and express their concerns and inform them about what steps can be taken by agencies and other stakeholders to address their problems, to link residents with agencies and information and resources, and empower them by providing information on what they can do to enhance public safety. And finally, given all of the new developments with the $1 billion budget gap, understanding the potential impact of that on public safety efforts and resources. So the event would focus on those objectives. The format might be something that would resemble a larger discussion around the source of crime and public safety challenges in this commission and in our commission and the SMDs within it. Maybe provide some statistics. The stakeholders that we invite would introduce themselves and share their roles so that the audience members or participants would understand what they do and how they plug into the broader issues and ecosystem of public safety. And then we would break out into different rooms where different stakeholders who deal with different issues would be available to participants to address specific questions and concerns. I think that's a better use of their time and also allows residents to have more targeted conversations with people. And finally, we come out into a larger group with everyone in a plenary where we talk about, what we learned, and we also share what's positive in terms of, positive developments that have happened in our community and action items moving forward for both agencies and for residents. So in terms of stakeholders, we talked a little bit about that, about who would be invited. And we had suggestions from Rashida, we had suggestions from Brian, myself, but also some of the neighbors who attended the meeting yesterday. And this is the list that we refined last night as we kind of whiteboarded with the residents. You're welcome to plug into this, add, take away, but this is kind of the initial roster or lineup of agency stakeholders and civic organizations or actors that might attend. Brian, you can scroll down. And, the general topics that we would address would include violent crime, specifically gun violence, and have the areas where that's of issue, open air drug activity, loitering and vandalism, and nonviolent crimes such as robbery. We're expecting 30 to 50 people. I would hope that between our 7 areas, we can get a little bit more, but maybe smaller is better to get more things done. The timing really hasn't changed since the last time we talked. I mean, I think, we would like to aim for May for schools out and certainly before the Memorial Day weekend. But that's probably very ambitious. So June might be the time that we land on, depending on when people are available. Locations could be Parkview Rec Center or Bruce Monroe Elementary School. One of our neighbors has a contact there, offered to don't let us use that space, let the community use that space. So, once we hear back on whether that's a possibility, that might come into play as a venue option as well. And so in terms of action items and where we go from here, we discussed, getting consensus among ourselves on the game plan, proposing some dates, and also getting out some draft invitations, which our neighbors agreed to help us with. They have previous language based on other events that they've planned. And also just get also the view from the Mokers, council member Nadeau, and MPD on, just kind of the general plan, the topics that we want to focus on, who we invite. And finally, just start drafting and drafting communication materials and things like that. So it's kind of where we're thinking. I'm going to pause here for reaction and suggestions, and it might be a little too much for anybody to react to now, but this is on SharePoint. So feel free to comment and edit as we move forward. I'll just pause here.
Great notes. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for
And
putting
this
that
comes on
together.
the heels of the public safety walk that we did last Wednesday. It was great. I mean, we had a lot of representation from MPD, Commander Pulliam from 3D, and Commander Levenhouse were there from 4D, as well as officers that deal with community relations. We also had somebody from counter narcotics, C. Sosa, DPW was there, and let's see who else, DPR, and the Mokers. So we had really good representation, and I think about maybe 5 neighbors showed up also, and a lot of people were looking out of their windows and sitting on their porches too. So yeah, it was a good day.
Great.
So Brad, we will probably turn to you here in the near future to ask if you can help with some of the just communication planning and materials. But I think we still have some stuff to do first before we really push anything out into the public. But general rule of thumb, and Brad, please chime in here, but my general rule of thumb, best practices that I'm aware of is that we want to try and advertise for like about a month, push information kind of each week. If you've gotten to a point where you're like less than 2 weeks out and you're advertising it the first time, it's probably a detriment to the success, or maybe impact the success of it all. And so if that is the case, if we're looking at May, that means that we just have to get, if we assume that we are going to do it the weekend, Memorial Day is the
24th.
It's the weekend of the 24th, so the 26th is actually Memorial Day, that Monday.
Correct.
I think the last Monday in May is the 26th. Yeah.
So
26th.
we wouldn't
Sorry,
we wouldn't
26th.
want to do it that weekend. So the last week in May would be that either 17th or 18th. And so
Yeah.
we're about 1 month out effective this weekend. And so we have a lot of work to do over the next like week or two. So with that, Audra,
I want to flag that is not. Do you remember when Howard's commencement weekend is?
Oh,
It's in June. Is it in June or late May or mid-May?
no, it's in May.
Let's make sure it's not that weekend.
that's a very good point. Can
I
you
remember
please
it's
do a
May
quick
10th.
Google search?
May 10th.
May
So
10th.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mother's Day weekend. Okay, so yeah, the 17th works then. Or excuse me, the 19th, the week of the 19th.
Yeah,
So
when is Mother's Day?
it's the Howard University weekend. It's the 10th.
Okay, and when is Father's
11th,
Day?
June.
June.
June. Okay, yeah, we definitely don't want
Yeah, I mean,
to.
your schedule still works. So May 17th,
Yeah.
18th, that weekend looks free and clear.
Yeah.
And other colleges may have a commencement that I think that's less of our concern.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Roger.
I'll put some stuff out too about Howard's commencement because they've been sending me a bunch of information about like traffic and street closures and stuff. So
Right.
So Audra, if we want to start putting, the feelers out for the 17th, 18th, reach out to
Okay.
the Parkview Recreation Center, the elementary school, see if that's a possibility. And then we can send the list of, the topics and the general thing. And I'm pleased again, like, let me know how I can be helpful in this,
Okay.
like, delegate to me
Great.
as you need.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I can also help with some context at these particular locations. I don't have all of them, but I have a number of them.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I alerted, excuse me, at the community walk, I alerted uh the agency reps to this event that we were planning it. They were really excited about it. So it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. And the neighbors are very active, activated, exercised around this. They shared with Brad and I a Google Doc of issues, like their own issue tracker and contact list that they keep amongst themselves and populate amongst themselves. So they're very, they're
Amazing.
working together already autonomously and organically around this. So I think we have a lot to work with.
That's great.
Mhm.
one kind of element I will flag for that weekend, it's more of a, let's see, looks to be like that. Okay, well, it's the tail end. So that week ends, that's National Police Week, just FYI. It ends on Friday the 16th. So just flagging in terms of theme wise, we should be free and clear.
But
No events that weekend. So that's good too.
actually kind of dovetails very nicely into our event,
Yeah,
public
right.
safety event.
Yeah.
I live by the themed months because I'm always looking for messaging ideas for different things, and so I always like have that bookmarked.
So
I love
that's
it. Great. All righty. Audra, do we want to set up a time to meet like on a weekly basis or something just to check in and see if there's any like thing that we can do
Sure.
together? Okay, we can talk about that afterwards. All right, and so no resolutions here. And then other business. So Brad, Howard, and I put together a resolution with respects to the pre-keep or P-keep, excuse me, the pre-K enhancement and expansion program. I'll just pull it up. One thing that we both agree on, well, actually, let me take a step back. So a community member reached out and said that they would really appreciate if the ANC looked into this issue and advocated to the city council and the mayor to protect the funding around PKEEP. We did a bunch of research. A lot of the information that the organization had been pumping out into the community was trying to articulate that they should keep the funding as is and don't really touch anything. I think after speaking with other commissioners like Christine Miller in 1A, who's a very large education advocate, Brad and I are on the same page of given the nature of where the city finds itself with not only the FY25 kind of budget issues, but also looking to what is going to be coming down the pipeline. We took a little bit of a different approach on this. And we were saying, based on some of the information that we were finding, the enrollment in these programs really have they're high income families across the district at around 30% of enrollees, and we were kind of thinking that it would be better to kind of articulate that the city should focus on trying to recruit and structure the program so that it supports the families most in need, knowing how important it is for this particular service for people in disadvantaged communities, things of that nature. I'm going to stop talking and just let people kind of read it a little bit. It's not very long, but I want people to take a moment and read it because we are taking a little bit of a different take than what the request was from the community.
Sorry, Brian, I wasn't following what you were saying. What's the different take?
They wanted us to advocate to not touch the funding, period. We're not necessarily talking about the funding. We're talking about if there's going to be a budget shortfall,
Oh yeah,
that these programs should target
right,
families in need, because that's not how it's being worked right now.
correct, yeah.
So I just want to understand, so are we asking to change anything related to the financing of PKEEP or eligibility requirements? I'm trying to understand.
No, it's essentially like if there's going to be budget cuts,
Mm-hmm. It
right?
would be to restore it at the levels that they were.
Well, it would just be that you focus it on the low income families. If you're going to make a cut, like preserve the funding for the low income folks,
Oh, okay.
like instead of doing a
Oh,
across the board
yeah.
cut, type thing, like target it strategically.
Okay. Okay.
Because I think what's going to probably happen if for some reason the Congress doesn't fix what's going on with the budget, I could see it across the board, like percent cut to everything, so to speak. It's just unclear because the mayor's keeping close hold on this. But if your funding gets cut by like 20% and you have to make cuts, we're essentially asking you not to.
Yeah. I mean, essentially it's a mixed delivery system, but I understand where Christine is going with this, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions with this? All righty. So that is all the resolutions that we have for next week. Anything else that we're missing?
We got to do a QFR report, but it's very easy. We haven't spent the money yet for the signs, right? The
Correct, we did
banners.
not.
Okay. But we approved it. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
I was just gonna say with that, we got another disbursement in February, so we're at $36,797.12. After we spend the money on the banners, we'll be down to $34,549.92. For full transparency, we did get $5 docked off of our disbursement because there was an issue with the receipt for a grant, and I just made a decision at that point that instead of trying to get $5 back from the grantee, that we could just say it's fine. We'll just lose $5 for our next disbursement. So that we were docked $5, which I figured wasn't a big deal.
I will add the QFR to the consent agenda, and I'll go back to one of the other agendas and find the exact way that we've worded it. But this is the QFR for Q1.
Yes. Right? And separate from this, but have we been sending out the resolutions? I haven't seen any go across my inbox, and just want to make sure that we're on the same page of who's sending those out.
Say that one more time, the sending out the resolutions to.
Yeah, just I didn't see any of the resolutions get sent out from last month, and so just wanted to make sure we're on the same page as to who's responsible for sending out each of them.
Audrey. Oh, Audrey, you're on mute.
That's me. Is that me?
Yep.
That's me.
Yep. You did it. Yeah.
Sorry.
So
yeah, I guess have you
commissioners like
I sent some out I think I sent 2 last month. Brian, I sent ones that Brian asked me to send. There might have been others. Josh, what am I missing?
Oh,
I
all of
don't
them should go
remember.
out.
Yeah, I don't remember all the
Any
ones that went out.
resolution
Yeah.
that we pass needs to, one, go into the portal, and then two, in the to line at the end.
Yeah.
Any of those entities. And we do include the emails to try and make it easier, so that you don't have to go like searching for it. But yeah, those should go out to the appropriate entities. And I know you were having an issue with uploading to the portal. Did that
Right.
resolve?
I think so. The problem was Josh, what are you sending?
Oh, sorry. I'm just
Oh, thank
just
you,
writing
Josh.
up the resolution titles for this
Oh, okay.
month that Brian was
Yeah,
asking
it
for
should be
because they're
okay,
separate.
Brian. Yeah, it should be fine now. Yeah, because I was having issue accessing them. I think it's resolved.
Okay. So yeah, if you don't mind sending those resolutions to the appropriate parties, uploading them, and then
Okay,
I
will
guess
do.
what would be and I know we still need to sign some of the other ones. I know that you have to like download it because of some software things.
Right.
So
I don't
just
have
let me know.
Adobe. Yeah.
Just let me know when you're done, and I'll sign them as well, and then they'll be ready to go. But we both need to sign them before we can send them out.
Also, if you guys
Okay.
want, I can just create an Adobe Pro subscription that everyone can access.
Right. We talked about that.
We have
Okay.
we have access to DocuSign.
I don't even know how to use that.
Oh.
Okay.
mean-
Okay.
ANC emailed us at one point about DocuSign. It might have been in late December though, so it might have been something that no one did anything with because it was in that time period where things were changing.
Okay.
Hi, Rashida.
Oops.
But yeah, I guess what kind of computer do you have, Audra?
Oh,
Windows
PC.
or Windows?
Windows PC.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
PC.
I'll see if I can find the DocuSign email. I swear that OANC said
Okay,
that we had
thanks.
DocuSign subscription.
Okay, and so these resolutions that we're talking about now, these aren't the ones that should go out now, right? Because we haven't passed them,
Correct.
Right.
correct?
Right.
But okay, but the ones that we passed in the last meeting do need to go out.
Yes.
That's what
And
we
I
have to do.
and I updated the end of the resolution that has the vote count and the date and all that, so they should be ready for you to just PDF sign, or if Josh finds the DocuSign for use that, and then
Okay.
let me know. I'll sign it, and then you
Great.
can upload and send those out.
Okay, yeah. So for March, yes, I know I got the ones out for Feb, so I'll get the ones out for March.
And to that point, I guess maybe when we send them out, we should just include all the commissioners. That way
You
people
mean
can, yeah,
when
like
you,
Josh, it sounds like Josh would really like to see the as they're going out. So maybe just to kind of put everybody on the email submission, or at least one of them, maybe to like the mayor's office or something like that.
Yeah, when I sent them out, I would just put all the commissioners on the CC line.
okay,
To each
Um,
of them, to which one did you like send it to? Because you would send
right.
it individually, right? Like you wouldn't send one email with the like mayor, each council member, Congresswoman Norton. Like you would send one to Norton, one to the mayor, one to
oh
the.
no, I sent it to all of them. I put them all in the 2 line and I put all of us on the CC line.
Oh,
They're special, but I didn't feel like we needed to send separate emails because that sounds like a lot of extra work.
Okay, so
That is
in the
fair.
emails, then when I'm sending the resolution to the appropriate entity in an email, all copy CC all the commissioners.
Sounds great.
Yep.
And then one also
And
goes to the portal.
Yeah, you'll
there's not an
upload them
email
into
for
the
it, but you
portal.
would upload it
Yeah.
to the portal, yeah.
Okay, all right, great. Yes, that I do. Okay.
And if you don't
Okay.
have a shortcut to add all the commissioners, you could also just email 1e at anc.dc.gov and it will get forwarded to every commissioner.
Okay. Okay. shortcut. All right, got it. I'll take care of that tomorrow.
Josh, I'm just gonna add here FY26 budget requests.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So one last thing that I have, and then I know Brad has a couple of things he wants to mention. Everybody should have received an email today, just as a reminder that every year we are responsible for a financial disclosure form and to take a BEGA training. The financial disclosure form information, the link and all that's in there. If you haven't used it before, there are instructions on what to do there, but make sure you read that whole email, because the top email talks about the public financial disclosure that we all have to do. And then there's one at the bottom that talks about the BEGA training. Both are due by May 15th. So just make sure that you keep an eye on that and take care of it when you guys can. The BEGA website, just as a reminder, it took me a minute to remember this and had to kind of try to run around and find it, but your username in the BEGA system is your SND and an ANC at the beginning. So it's for me, it's ANC1E07. So that will be the same format for every user that is an ANC that's using their gov information. So just as a note.
And if you didn't get an email, they might have sent it to your campaign email address. So you're welcome to send them a nasty gram about how they shouldn't be emailing you about official government business to a campaign email address, because they're BEGA and they should know better.
Boom.
That is what they did to
Love
me.
it. Is it? Oh,
Yep.
man.
And I had this long argument with them. I'm like, why are you emailing me this here? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Happens every year.
They didn't send it to your ANC, they sent it to your
Campaign
I'm sure
email
they tried.
address.
Oh, man. Well, I think they do that too because even people who ran for ANC are responsible for doing it, even if they didn't win.
Not this though. This is
Not
different.
the big financial. They're responsible for. So that's not true. I'm sorry. It's the people who left. So they were sitting commissioners in 2024. They still need to do a filing. I mean, I don't know what the penalties are for not doing it, but it's a filing that representing what the last year looked like for you. And so they do, instructions say that they're supposed to do it, but anyway. All right, Brad, you had a couple of things.
Yeah, a quick update on me professionally. I took a job and started back on Capitol Hill as a chief of staff for Congressman Greg Stanton of Arizona. That being said, I'm now under the purview of House Ethics. Part of what I'm not allowed to do, according to House Ethics, is to lobby or advocate, like lobbying anyway, and that includes grassroots lobbying, which is like, hey, folks, encourage a member of Congress, to vote this. Go call them. I can't do that. I can't represent. I can't advocate to a federal agency. Period. And then I can't be part of any discussing strategy around advocacy or lobbying. That's for members of Congress and federal agencies only. So any resolution that is targeted at Congress or any federal agency, I have to recuse myself from, just FYI. And I can't even post it on social media. So there may be certain instances where Josh, I may have it may make, or whoever, if I'll be like, I can't post that. And the other issue is and Brian, it has to be I have to say I'm voting present to recuse myself. So there's gonna, we'll know this ahead of time, and I'll just say I have to withdraw from it. But there's no limitations on advocating any city agency or city council member or local elected official. It's just federal officials.
Great.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Great.
Cool. Okay. And Brian, I'm a little sensitive to the stuff around world pride. If there's I just have to kind of, you know, because I know we were talking about like trying to help if anything happened with the federal government. So I just had kind of withdraw for some of that too. The other thing for a moment, real quick, I wanted to run by you guys to kind of show you, I'm sorry, it's taken me a while and I've been piecemealing it out, but it's like some improvements to the website. I just want to walk through real quick if I can share. Can y'all see this?
Yes.
Okay. So I added another little like graphic there, which is like cute spots from the district or from the ANC. I think we all know these places. And just created another like welcome message to make it a little more like it looked like a homepage as opposed to an inside page. Created these links over here on the right that are the quick kind of finds. So
I
calendar.
thought it looked different.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really nice, Brad.
Thank you.
Great
And
job.
I even put a section here like how to use this site because it's a little. If you don't know what an ANC, I mean, when I first came to this site, not knowing what an ANC was, it was very confusing. So just kind of like helping people understand what to use it for. I stuck a calendar at a glance down here. So this is it's the same calendar, it's just presented differently so that people can just see kind of in a column format. There, the edit buttons, obviously I'm logged in, so it doesn't show like that. And then I added a subscribe thing at the bottom as a footer there. And so what I wanted to show you guys was I broke this up into like what is an ANC, like a FAQ type thing.
That's great.
This is kind of word for word from the city, so I didn't play with it too much, or from the ANC website. And then I specifically had one on ANC1E, you know, just
Yay.
doing a little bit. The calendar, I didn't change. I reformatted the calendar here a little bit to where it was like labeled instead of unknown calendar, like ANC1E calendar. I don't, sorry, my cats are wrestling. I need to have a conversation about like what y'all want me to be, what my responsibility is for putting stuff on the calendar if there is any. And so I don't know if because I think the committee chairs put their events on here, right?
I just did it before, but
Okay,
they should all be there. They should all be there at this point because they're all recurring meetings.
Yeah, and the one thing I want to make sure is because I joined when I was a candidate, tried to join one and it had been canceled and I didn't know it because it was on the calendar. So I'll be more active involved with this for sure. And then
Brad, real quick on that one, the committee of the whole for tonight is a one-off, and we'll just need to create the committee of the whole for next
I already
month.
made it recurring.
Oh,
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The information on why it didn't work today is because I messed something up in the web in Zoom, and so I had to create a one-off for today. That's the call that we're on right now, but then there's a reoccurring starting in May.
Awesome.
So the May invite should have a different call-in information than what's in the April one.
And then I listed all the meetings for the year just in case like we ever, people can plan accordingly for all year long.
That's good.
Including like the 2026 ones. I see a duplicate there. I'll fix. This part here, like,
I hate this so much.
I know. That's why I was gonna ask. I was like, I added officer column, but like, can I play with this a little bit? Or y'all
Please,
do like,
God.
okay, yes. I added district maps. But what I also did, I want to show you like, I just did this for mine. What I'd love to do is to like put social media icons, like something like that. And then, I want to help folks get all their bios, like similar length and size. And then I added like email buttons here. I have done this on Notion, but what I essentially set up, I'll show you here, and I can do this for everyone if you'd like. It's just essentially like a landing page so that people can put in their information. This is very easy to do. And it's essentially like first name, last name, email, your address related to your concern, write it out. Do you have any supporting documents? This, and what it does is that when they submit it, it sends me an email, but it also populates into a spreadsheet for me to track so that I can keep track of when the requests come in. Yeah.
I want one.
Okay. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Wait, how does this get to your ANC email?
Because when you submit the, in Notion, when someone submits, it asks where to send it to. And so I'd send it to ANC1E.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Is Notion cost money?
No. if you want it automated, which Zapier is the connecting force, that does cost money, but it's not expensive. Like, and so I'm probably going to come to you. I've been testing it out to make sure it works before I recommend a cost, but like it's minimal. And what it can do is you can also have it automated to where you can set up all these automations to where if a project goes or a request goes 15 days unanswered, it'll send you an email reminding you. Like there's all these automatic
That's
things you can
very
set up.
good.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool. It's a lot of it uses AI. What I was trying to do was set up a model where if somebody emailed my email account, it would automatically take the content and put it into a spreadsheet for me. But because of the formatting issues and it's a government, wasn't working well. So I just had to create a form. So essentially what I ask when people email me, I'm just like, hey, great. Can you mind submitting in this form so I can track it properly and get the authorization? Like anytime we're, it's just helpful to like have their permission to advocate on their behalf, just in clear there. So this is all, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, most people understand.
Brad, so sorry.
Yeah.
We do have a budget for, administrative issues. So if you do need to pay for something, just all we need to do is just approve it, but the budget is specifically there for it. So like
I'll probably come Wednesday night with permission for this. I've been testing it out. I had a few friends just fill it out for me and make sure it was working. And so it's a pretty straightforward, and I think, people get it. So anyway, so what I would love to do is on this page is have our photos, like, and make it look presentable and stuff. And then I set up just a Google voicemail number so that my actual like my personal phone number is not out there. So if others want to do that, it's free. Google Voice numbers are free, and there are 202 numbers available. Just FYI. So there's that. So that's kind of my next project. The website with our next meeting, I made the logistics a little more just easy to understand. I've tried not to overhaul things so that if people are used to coming to a certain place, I tried not to change that. So you can see here, like, and I created title card graphics for the YouTube's. Let me show you here. See little graphics for the videos, so that people
cool.
can see what they are. And I'll come back in to these and add in the title cards to each of these, and I fixed the logo here, tweak that a little bit on the YouTube page because we had some logo that was old and didn't match. So there, and then that, so people can not only see the upcoming one but can watch the last one right in that spot.
Amazing.
Committees. Sorry, go ahead.
No, good.
There's a weird landing page. So if you click on committees and just that, there's a landing page here. And so I just made sure they knew who the commissioners were and that they could, visit the page.
Do you have the, okay, there's chair. Commissioner.
Because it was like before, it was like confusing because it would take you to a duplicate page, and I don't know. I fixed it, and then I don't think I changed anything here.
The one thing, Brad, for the people, if they're interested in joining a committee, they should email the individual committee chairs, not me.
Okay, I can fix that.
The individual committees have the autonomy to determine who's a member of their.
Okay. Easy fix. This is my next project, because like this whole section, because like, for instance, like it hasn't been done since 2023, but I went to the folders and like confused of where these things reside. So on the shared drive. And so I wasn't sure, like,
oh, you can get rid of this page. If you go underneath records and videos, it's all underneath meeting minutes and related documents now.
oh, got it. Okay. And it's linked to, see how it links to this folder.
Well, that's because I just had to put it. Yeah, go to March.
There's nothing in it yet.
Yeah,
That's
but see,
my
like
job.
Under meetings, there's nothing. Wait, something went wrong.
Oh, yeah, because we only give access to the individual folder because we don't want them to be able to crawl around our OneDrive.
So go back to the website.
Oh.
So like if you go to the website and click on like January 2025 or something.
Maybe Brad, can you change it so that when people click on that, it pops up a new browser?
Yes. Easy.
That way, I think as you're kind of experiencing, you have to hit back in order to go back to the website. But
yeah. Okay. Then I will get rid of that page. And there's other, so the videos just takes you to the YouTube. Fix that. Yeah, I didn't know.
Grants, it would be good to keep grants because that's like we
Oh,
want
yeah.
people to, yeah.
I just didn't know what
And
to do here. That's what I asked you guys.
the
Did you do anything?
application, yeah, I believe we forwarded everybody the application in January, but I'll re-forward it.
And then Brian, with the SOP changes y'all made, I
Mhm.
could not this thing says it, I found on the shared drive that this is the revised 2025, but I don't think it is. I
Can
wasn't
you
sure.
zoom in? Sorry. Yeah, there should be
Like
on
it
that first
says,
page. Okay.
let's see, it says that this is here, right? But like
Mhm.
it doesn't, let me see. Like the changes, did they match? Yeah, see the changes here don't match.
Oh, gotcha. Audra, did you incorporate the edits from the resolution into the master file?
I thought I did.
Well, like, so if you look at
Um,
2B, it ends in this object, but down here, 2B ends in subsection C. So that's why I was
um,
confused.
Brian, let's talk offline about what I should have
Okay.
done there. It might be me.
Okay. The basically the resolution just is a track change. And so you just need to take the track change and then plug it into the actual master
Got it.
document.
Okay, I don't think I did that. Okay, got it. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
That was my
My
one flag
bad.
there. And these are the, there's no, we didn't amend the bylaws at all, right? This
Correct.
is like, okay.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, and then contact us. I created a contact form. So what this does when people submit, I accidentally had it as my email because Josh, I think I forwarded you something that came in. What I've done is changed it to the 1E. So when someone fills this out, it's going to go to everyone. But I added a line in here, like, do you want to direct it to a certain commissioner? Right. And so if they do, everyone will get the email, but you can see who they meant it to go to. And I just, that was easier than like trying to figure out a way of like verifying a zip code to see if you're in the right ANC. And it was just like, this is just simpler for the user, I thought. So when someone fills this out, you're going to get, I just realized there's another error right there. Someone fills this out, you're going to get everyone's going to get an email at once, but you can see who they meant it to go, if they meant it to go to all or if they didn't care. And I think I put in here, yeah, I would like a response to this submission. So if they're just sharing what they think, that's great. But if they want a response, they let us know here. And then these were just, I used AI to come up with what categories to put here. Y'all feel like you want to change these, feel free. They seem reasonable to me. But play around with it. Let me know if you think we're missing something that should go. Obviously, I don't have a pride of authorship there because I didn't author it.
I
The
also,
one
I
thing
don't
I would-
remember, I don't remember getting an email from you related to this. You said you might have forwarded me something.
Yeah,
So,
there was someone wrote, I think it was something to you following last month's meeting, and I forwarded it to you because I realized it just came to me.
oh,
Let
I
me
didn't
go
get that.
okay, let me go back and check. It was just explaining, I think, why they were absent. So what? I remember it not being.
Oh, okay. That's not important then, whatever.
Yeah, I think, but let me make sure I send it to the right entity or you.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I have a hard stop at 8.
Yep, that's all I had.
So,
That's done.
okay, Brad, this is fantastic. This
Yeah,
is
great job, Brad.
great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
I enjoyed doing it.
Okay. Brad, I'll be in touch. I'm sorry, Brian, I'll
Go
be
ahead.
in touch with you about all this stuff.
Brian, I had
Sounds
one
good.
more thing, and Josh could
Yeah.
be here too. Do y'all know that so when you come down Michigan, I'm gonna zoom in here.
Mhm.
And there's that the street they blocked off with potted plants, like right here. You know what I'm talking about? So if you're coming down Michigan to hook a ride on Warder, you kind of go around that.
Yes,
There's like 5 or 6 huge potted plants there.
yes,
That's
yes.
blocking, so they close that street. Like, I've never seen anything planted in those. Can we plant something? Like, they're a really pretty spot to do some cool flowers, and it's spring. And I know my neighbor has a really green thumb.
Yeah.
But it
We
seemed like
can generally
Who's
pay
di-
for beautification projects like that. We would just need to find someone that wants to do it.
my neighbor would.
Whose district is this? I think is this Rashida's?
Rashida's.
So I'd probably just reach out to Rashida, let her know that you have somebody that's interested in doing it. We could just find out how much it would cost for the mulch, the whatever is needed, and then we would just put in a consent
There's
agenda.
only 6, so I can't imagine it being too much, but it could be fun. Maybe like fun activity for us to all do together, like and send a photo out.
Yeah, I love
dirty.
that.
Anyway.
I'm down for that.
Okay, I'll text Rashida then. Cool.
Cool.
That's it.
Great job.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Brian, can you stick on?
Yeah.
I have a question for you separately.
No.
I can. Josh, have a good one. I tell you what, with that, I'm going to conclude the meeting and I'll stop the recording.